Hi everyone, Anna, grateful alcoholic. I'm going to start with a little prayer. Dear God, my spiritual awakening continues to unfold. The help I received, I shall pass on and give to others, both in and out of the fellowship. For this opportunity, I am grateful. I pray most humbly to continue to walk day by day on the road of spiritual progress. I pray inner strength and wisdom to practice these principles and way of life in all I do and say. I need you, my friends, in this program every hour of every day. This is definitely a better way to live. Thank you guys for having me over to speak today. I'm just blown away. Beautiful flyer. You guys have done such a great job. Um, well, I am the oldest of two. I have a sister who's 5 years younger. And for our house, alcohol was like the norm. We'd get brandy at night to go to sleep, whiskey if we have a toothache, occasional beer with the dog, all these different things. But the best part about it is that no matter what, my sister and I were together. It was us against the world a lot of times. I've been, from a young age, very uncomfortable on the inside. I felt like I was off, I was different. I couldn't figure out stuff that was easy for other people. I just felt like not there. In that way, it's like, how do I respond to things? And feeling alone. And one of the best things that came along was alcohol. It made me feel okay. It filled that place, that hole deep down inside. It did it for a while, but eventually it stopped working, and nothing I could do could fill that space. No matter if I went out of town, tried some geographic locations, that was entertaining, but I led this double life. Here I am. One of the biggest things I went through as a young person is I had gotten to the bout of my grandpa's homemade brandy and I ate a piece of fruit out. This is like 8 years old, 9 years old. And I went to jump over a ring on the boat and I caught it with my leg and almost drowned, but I broke my leg also at the same time. I didn't think anything about it because, hey, I just missed. But from a young age, alcohol had played a big role. And that first time of my own volition did not go well. So you'd think I'd leave it alone. So my double life included being in Students Against Drunk Driving and riding with people on the weekend that were drinking. I had this image that I had to keep up, that everything was okay. I'm the smart girl. Everything's going to be fine, when it wasn't. I couldn't tell you what music I liked because it changed with whoever was in the car. Anything to be accepted, to feel love, was on the plate. So I ended up attempting suicide, and it wasn't good. I ended in the hospital, and they kept me for 72-hour hold. My dad was telling him, hey, it was an accident. You tell him it was an accident. See, my dad was very abusive. He was abusive to my mom, to my sister, and to me. And both of us ended up walking away from the house and the family because it was just too much to handle. So I had moved out and I was with some people and I overdosed. I woke up in that hospital and the games had to be laid aside. What was going on in the house came out, but you don't say anything like that. But it came out and literally destroyed my mom. He thought, why is she lying? But my mom was like, you do that. It was normal for stuff to come flying around the house and find my mom crying. That was a normal childhood at my house. So after my suicide attempt, we thought it'd be best if I move away to where the people that I got drunk with aren't there. I don't know about you, but I always find people to get drunk with. Don't ask me. But I found my people up here. But the difference is I did not pick back up. I had not crossed that line yet. And you think that would have done it all. No, didn't cross the line. I still could set it down and walk away and thought I was good. I got married, fell in love with the guy next door. He was a minister. This is just right. My life is going to be great. We're going to have the best time together. No. Our wedding day was amazing. I got pregnant on our honeymoon. That was entertaining. But life hit, and it hit hard. My whole world got turned upside down. I came home and I found our little one at 8 months beaten by my husband. The whole house was trashed. All these memories, all these things that I've had since a kid were broken, including my heart. And I tried my best to block it out and say, oh, it's just an accident. Aaron's just got he's swollen, he's having a reaction. It wasn't till I got to the doctors and the police came in and like, your husband hurt your child. I'm like, I didn't see it. I wasn't home. Isn't this from, having a reaction? And then as the swelling went down, you could see handprints on him. And at that point, I was at home by myself in a destroyed place. My husband, the church put him up in a hotel so he could be not there. Everything was gone. It was like a very dark time. It was gone. I picked up and had 3 Long Island iced teas, and then I was off and running. Because the only way I could deal with that was to drink. That's how I felt. By the way, my husband tried to commit suicide. He ended up at the same hospital. I was doing the basing, so he doesn't. That's like unreal. They let me in. They're like, why are you willing to do it? And I go, because I don't want anybody to go through what I went through. I don't want this to happen to anybody else. I want to know why this happened. Got all the psychological reasons why. Went through dealing with the courts and trying to get my child back. I had to file a divorce within 24 hours. And I did. but it took 3 months for my son to come home. 3 whole months of his very early life. I was angry beyond belief. I also ended up with what they call PTSD and other things with it. Quote unquote, that's why I'm drinking, I was told. But inside, I was broken, even more broken. I wanted nothing to do with this thing called God, church, or anything. Didn't want anything to do with it. And drinking wasn't stopping. That's how I fell asleep at night and slept. That's how I coped. Then I get my son back and total terrorize. Can't do it. So I stopped drinking and tried to go to AA. That was entertaining. Somebody said the word God in the second step, and I walked out. Guess what? Alcohol brought me right back in the doors. I needed something greater than myself. My first step experience, I didn't know what an alcoholic was. I have friends that are alcoholic. They lost everything. They're on the streets. Alcohol's in a brown bottle, in a brown bag, in a bottle. That's what I thought was an alcoholic, not me. Not anybody I've seen at the meetings either. It's kind of hard to believe. It's hard to believe, hey, people got a month, 6 months, a year. Oh my God, how do you do that? And so for me, I just went forward, and all I could do was put my head down on the table and cry. And one of these nice women come up and she goes, honey, victims don't stay sober, so you got to do something. That was the most meanest thing anybody ever said to me, but it was the most profound thing ever said. You got to get past what happened. And there's a way how to do that. I'm just like looking at her like she's freaking Fruit Loops. But guess what? It is a better way of life. So when I came in, I didn't care what I looked like. I was just like hit. And I saw all these women with all this makeup and jazz on, and I'm looking at them like, yeah, right. That's how I felt. Yeah, right. I was the tomboy growing up. I wasn't one of the girly girls. I couldn't relate to a girly girl, and here I am in a woman's meeting in Alcoholics Anonymous, and there's all these girls and this stuff. And one of the most amazing experiences is what I call the dressed up garbage can. Dressing all up, feeling like killing yourself on the inside, and trying to present an image that you got it all together. That doesn't work. I can't fake it till I make it with this stuff. I couldn't. I know people that can, quote unquote, but I can't. I have to be real. I have to be honest and rigorously honest. I had to work these steps because life was not good. I didn't want the life that I had. So I started going to step studies, got in a big book study, got a sponsor, which was entertaining. Because I thought a sponsor was somebody that had all these women following their every move, like the Mean Girls clique. But that's not what a sponsor is. I found a person that became my sponsor. And what she did was take me hand in hand and walk me through the literature and walk me through the steps and traditions. That's what she did. I got in and I thought just doing the steps off the wall was going to work for me. People I know just go say everything at a table and they're fine. That wasn't me. And only thing I can speak to is what has worked for me. And it's my truth. And if I'm not authentic, then it's nothing at all. So I found for me that these steps were so important. One is having that gift of desperation. I got to the point where I was willing to go to any lengths to stay sober. Any lengths. And when I got in here, I was ready to go to any lengths. But as time went on, oh no, I don't need to do that. Why would I want to do that? Are you kidding me? So I started doing these steps like nothing. And I like how in the book it talks about the flimsy reed that has the flimsy reed that has
who is shot that picture of James?
I'm sorry, they're I'm over at Mike's house.
Have her send it to you. You can send it to me. Okay.
I'm so sorry. Powerless over people, places, and things. Wow. You know, that's what's so funny is we, yeah. I am so embarrassed right now, but it's okay because they don't realize it's all about me right now, isn't it? Ha ha ha. I don't understand these guys. Evidently.
Come on, Chewie. Come on.
Evidently. I just don't understand how things can be so crazy and unimaginable when I'm talking. I gotta remember not to kill Mike when I get off, so please remind me. No, I love him. Relationships, what can I say? So back to the steps. Now that I've just got totally terrorized, with the steps. That first step, grasping that flimsy reed, that was it. I had this seeing something I wanted in this woman. She was confident. She was honest. And you know what? She was vulnerable. My first time meeting with this woman who has become my sponsor and a good friend for 21 years now. I met her when I first got sober. And the first day we were going to do steps, she come over and she was a hot mess. She was crying. They just got, her and her fiance broke up. And here she's over trying to carry this message to me. And she told me, Anna, doesn't matter how much time you got, if you're not honest about where you're at, it's not going to work. Wow. So as we started doing the steps, I had to read We Agnostic so many times during that week because I had to find this whole God thing. Second step, okay, I want nothing to do with that. And she's like, I don't care what you call it. She goes, you stand at the ocean and a wave hits you. It's going to knock you down. Yeah, there's a power greater yourself, run with it. And so I started out with that. I couldn't do the whole dad thing. I couldn't do all these things. But what was great is I started with that. And then we came to the third step. And for me, I just looked at her because 1 and 2 were crazy. But 3, I'm going to do this third step. Okay. let's do this. And we read, and what she had me do was phenomenal. Is all that stuff in the third step prayer? Anna is an actor who wants to run the whole show. If only everybody would do what Anna wished. And she had me put my name in there. And when I read it, it's like, holy cow, yeah, I do that. Yeah, I want this to be this way. Don't you know? And I laughed because I was in a play and I was the actor, and we were trying to tell the director what to do. And that's when it really hit home. And as I did that third step, she's like, okay, this is just the beginning. This third step, you're not going to be turning it over right there. And I'm like, well, why am I praying this? And I'm turning it over. And she goes, what are you turning over? I go, I don't know. There you go. You don't know what you're going to turn over. And I just started laughing. So we went to do that third step prayer, and we were down on our knees. And I just started crying. I started to say the third step prayer, then I started crying. And I felt unconditional love. I felt everything was going to be okay. That was unbelievable. And I cried. And when I got up, she gave me a piece of paper. She goes, well, remember how we read we launched into a course of vigorous action? Here you go. Write down the names of who you're mad at and why. And then guess what? We're going to look at Helm 3. And I'm just looking at her like she's nuts. Okay. And so she gave me this thing. It was like a little checkbox. I don't know if anybody ever did this, but I was so smart. I went through and I checked all the boxes. And fourth count, yeah, I was dishonest. Yes, fear. Oh, I didn't have a part in it. They had more. And well, how does it affect your self-esteem? I can't remember. I wrote it down too long ago. That was 5 minutes before she got there, by the way. But that was all the honesty I could handle at that moment. I put something on paper, and when we talked and read through it, I started to see things. I started to feel things. And most of all, I saw how they talk about fear being the evil and corroding thread. And the fabric of my life was definitely shot through with fear. Fear of not being good enough. Fear of my son never talking to me. Fear of never talking to my mom. All these fears were coming up. Especially fear that I'm not good enough and I'm a failure. And those fears were ingrained as a little girl till here I was, 30 some years old, doing this inventory, about 30, doing this inventory and going, shaking my head, going, wow. It really blew my mind when I saw my part and stuff. It really did. And I stopped looking at the other person. So with that inventory, and when we first stepped it out, I took that moment of silence. I took that hour and I took a look, and there was things I didn't have down. And we met and we went over those things because I thought I didn't want to look bad, or what are you going to think of me? And she'd been through a lot of the stuff I have been. And the terror and the fear. We went through and did the fear inventory and the sex inventory. And by the way, that's not how you do it. A lot of people think it is, but no, it's how you treat people. That's what is important. That's what the inventory shows. How do I treat my boyfriend? How do I treat my friends? And taking that and looking at it. One of the greatest things she ever says is water seeks its own level. I'm going to attract somebody where I'm at, emotionally, physically, mentally, where I'm at. That goes back to the whole treatment center. Two people that are messed up is not going to make one whole person. Doesn't work. My experience. So then we did 6 and 7 out of the 12 and 12 also. And took a look at it, and it's like, what are you willing to get by with? Are you going to do just enough of what you think it needs to stay sober, or are you going to do it all? Went back to, am I willing to go to any lengths to stay sober? So doing that, I made that list for amends. I made it. Had a lot of I didn't want to do ever. My dad was one of those. My ex-husband was one of those. And my aunt and uncle was one of those. And see, I had so much anger and hurt built inside that I wasn't even willing to forgive myself for making the decisions I made to marry, to have a kid, to have a job, to have these things. It was tough. So as we moved forward through the list, for many years, they were on the list. Many years. It's either a week or 2 weeks prior to my dad passing away. He wanted to see me. Never mind, my sister and I have not talked to them in years. We both have moved far away. And I went and seen him, and I walked in the room and I started crying, and so did he. And I made amends to him right there for all the stuff that happened, because I was the little girl that got beat and watched her mom get beat. And here I am, and I see this man as he truly is, suffering, going to be dying with his heart. That's how he was. I saw him for how I think God sees us. Oh, that's how I saw him. And my heart went out. I also saw my mom. And I inherited my mom that day. I got to have her. That was a blessing. My mom moved in with me. She was broken. She'd been with him all her life. And that was her whole life, just came crashing down. And she had me. My sister did not want us contact with her at all still. But she had me. I was able to make amends to my mom. Unconventional amends, because she wouldn't take money or anything. We went on trips. We went camping. We went all over Michigan, down to Indiana, Ohio. We had adventures together. That was my amends to my mom, was to spend that time and to do that. So as I continued to do these amends and continue to walk this path out, life changes. I was involved in Mickey Paul, which is the Michigan Young People's Convention, which is amazing. I got to be on the advisory board also for years. before my mom moved up here. I found a life in Alcoholics Anonymous. I got to be a mom. I got to have a relationship with my child. And Aaron is 26 and he loves his mom. He calls his mom. He has his mom's coins. My amends to my child was when I'm with him, I am with him. Because I don't know about you, I've said a lot of I'm sorry's and excuses. So they definitely wanted a program of action, be able to see something. My mom passed away. It was coming up on 2 years. And I was so grateful and so blessed to have that time with her. But it hurt like hell when she died. She died 2 hours after I saw her at the rehab center. We walked away, left her. By the way, my sister got involved in her life again and mine as a result of this program, as a result of saying, okay, I can share her. I can't say she's my mom around her, it's our mom. But it was like mom and I against the world. Mom would come to the morning meeting that I would go to online, and she'd be eating her oatmeal every morning, and we'd all hear her pray amen 3 times because we knew it was coming. It's those moments that are so precious. Those adventures, those times, those talks. That's what's so powerful about this program. We get to live a life like none other. If I would have wrote what I thought my life would be, I would be totally wrong. I'll tell you. It's absolutely better than I could ever imagine. You know, I'm blown away by the grace that I've been given, the chance to get to walk through this program with other women, to be on the other side saying you can get through this, because I believe anybody can. I believe if I am willing to go to any lengths and to continue to practice this in my life, I will stay sober no matter what. Losing my mom was one of those things that I thought I would never be able to stay sober, and I did. A lot by the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous in my Zoom meetings. People I formed strong relationships with. I had sponsees calling me saying how I'm doing, because that's what we do for each other. We show up. And even if there's people talking in the background, and even if everything doesn't go the way I want it, I'm okay today. And I'm going to stay sober today. And you know what? It might be 5 minutes an hour, 5 minutes at a time, an hour at a time. But guess what? I'm going to do it. Because I know that this life is worth living. I know that there is a plan greater than mine at work. And I just am I'm so blessed to be a member of Alcoholics Anonymous and to meet people like I've never met before. I'll tell you, you can form a bond with somebody online in an AA meeting that totally blows your mind how much love and care they have for you and you for them. If I was to give any takeaways, is no matter what you've gone through, you can come on the other side. And the reason why I think that is because I have come to the other side through things. And I've had other people help me through things, through what they've been through, because it works two ways. I'm not better than anyone or less than anyone. I'm just equal with another alcoholic. That's the best part. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be. So if you're new or if you're struggling, reach out to people. That's why they put their number in or their email or whatever. Reach out to them because it does save your life. And sharing your own experience helps others. Now, I had no idea what I said or what, just the fact that Mike was talking in the background with his dad. But today, I have a relationship with somebody. I said I'd never date again after everything. And here it's going on 3 years. You know, there is hope. There's always hope as long as you have breath. You have it. And don't ever keep not coming back. You need to keep coming back because we need you. You're needed, wanted, and loved here in the room. So wherever you're at, just remember there's somebody who is going to need your experience someday. They're going to need to hear you and how you got sober. I don't know. I love you guys so much. Thank you, Martin, for having me speak tonight. I don't know. It's first time speaking other than my room. So yeah, it's a learning process. Thank you guys so much for having me and have a wonderful time tonight. Thank you.